Congressman Matt Gaetz has big plans for his future, but an ongoing DOJ investigation might end those dreams this summer. Joining me to talk about this is Farron Cousins from the Trial Lawyer magazine. Eddie Munster is back in the news almost every day, but this is crazy headlines. He wants to run for president, and he's doing it so he can help Trump during the debates. He says he can be the attack dog, and he can take the heat off of Trump if Trump decides to run. Wow, what is your take?
You know, I'm still kind of shocked that Gaetz is going around publicly, and of course right now he's on his little cross-country tour with Marjorie Taylor Greene, acting like his life is not totally falling apart behind the scenes. But, you know, this comment he made last week that, I'm considering running for president in 2024. I could handle what's left of Biden, was what he specifically said. And this guy doesn't think that anything is going to touch him. And I don't know if it's because he's putting on a brave public face or if he legitimately believes that he is not in any danger whatsoever, because he's never really been in trouble. Daddy's gotten him out of everything in his past.
Yeah.
And so he may be, suffering from delusions that it can't happen.
Okay. You and I have done a story in the past on the idea that this is the new thing, right?
Yeah.
A politician, no matter what they do, I'm not going to resign. They're being told by leadership, don't resign. I mean, it proved true with Trump, right? He ran for president. Proved true with Bill Clinton. I mean, they had him for perjury. Don't resign. Life as usual. It's almost like the last person to resign was Richard Nixon. But so this is the course they're taking. And it's the Gaetz Greene team. Tell me about Marjorie Greene, how she fits in all this.
She is one of the few people who's willing to say that I still stand with Matt Gaetz. And of course, it's because they both are just devoted disciples to Donald Trump. So they're on their little tour right now, trying to claim the election was stolen, trying to really rally the Trump base, because that's also the Gaetz and the Greene base. Mm-hmm. That's what they need to continue their political career. So if Matt Gaetz does want to run for president, he's going to need those people that are showing up at his rallies now to show up for him at the polls. But like you mentioned, Gaetz doesn't necessarily want to run for president because he thinks he'll win. He is basically the Trojan horse candidate. There's lots of whispers that Ron DeSantis, Florida's governor, might want to run. And in order to keep DeSantis' hands clean, to not make any Republicans mad, you send Gaetz out there on the debate stage to hurt everybody else, and you say, can't we just get along and be nice?
Gaetz is the attack dog.
Yeah, he is.
Of course, with DeSantis, DeSantis has got to understand the guy's radioactive.
Right.
You don't want his name around. Just take a minute on the Marjorie Greene. What are the hits on her? What are the problems there? How does she fit in so well with Gaetz?
I was going to say, it depends on the day of the week with her, because she's got a new scandal more frequently than this guy. The most recent one, obviously, where she said that wearing a mask is akin to what happened during the Holocaust. That obviously was a hugely disgusting statement by her. There's the video that surfaced of her from about a year or two ago, harassing AOC. This was before Greene was even in Congress, peeking through her mail slot, screaming at her in her congressional office. The ads that she has put out with the sound of gunshots when she mentions Pelosi's name. Yeah. I mean, the list is endless.
And so they're teamed up.
Yeah.
They're the team that's going to help Trump win again. They're the team that DeSantis says, in his mind, please, please stay away from me.
Well, I do have to add here, too, because another story about Matt Gaetz came up in the last couple days. This one involves a yacht that Gaetz and his fiance were allegedly going to buy this yacht. Yeah. They had $155,000 put aside. The yacht, by the way, is named Old Pappy.
Old Pappy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's as you know, that's my moniker, Pap. But okay, it's Old Pappy.
So suddenly Gaetz comes out and he's in the media. He says, "Oh no, my $155,000 is missing. I don't know where all my money went, but somebody must have stolen it." Okay. And so that's the new headline with him.
Okay, so back up. You're going to pay $155,000 for a yacht, sailing yacht probably, and sail away somewhere. But the missing money, it's really difficult to lose $155,000. No doubt your thought on that is maybe it's being spread around to help his problems go away.
That's my theory. Of course, it's just a theory, but I really, look, when you're in as much trouble as he could be, and you have a lot of money put aside and suddenly you can't account for the money, the feds need to start checking with his friends.
You think? It doesn't look like Amazon's antitrust woes are coming to an end anytime soon. DC's Attorney General has finally filed a lawsuit against the tech giant alleging predatory price fixing. Steve Longo joins me now to talk about this. It is so overdue, isn't it? These folks have been getting away with absolute murder where it comes to a monopoly.
Absolutely. And what it stems is the Attorney General in D.C., Carl Racine, has alleged that Amazon's essentially price fixing. And they're doing it by what's called these most favored nation agreements, which is requiring these third-party sellers, if they want to sell their product on Amazon, they got to play by Amazon's rules, which means incorporate Amazon's higher fees and commissions to the product price that they want to place on Amazon. And these fees and costs can be upwards of 40% additional of what the product price actually is. So not only are they charging higher prices, it doesn't stop there. What they also require is that these third-party sellers keep that price floor where it is if they want to go sell on a different platform, even their own website.
In other words, you have to play by our rules. If we're going to squeeze every dime out of the consumer, you either play with us or you don't. You're going to go away, basically. That's what happens. How does, earlier this year, Amazon was already hit with a lawsuit for antitrust violations. Hasn't it become part of the system? They figure out how much money they're making. A corporation says, we're making this many $1 billion. We get hit with this fine for $500 million. It's not a big deal. We've still made $1 billion. Isn't that kind of the approach here? But they were hit already, weren't they?
They were, and that one deals a little bit different. That deals with e-books or electronic books, and that allegation and lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit, is up in federal court in New York. That was brought by a law firm. This one that we're talking about now in D.C. was actually the first time government has filed an antitrust lawsuit against Amazon. But you're absolutely right. It's about time. I think what stems and what these lawsuits are stemming from is the House Judiciary Committee for Antitrust last year came out with that 16-month report saying, hey, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, these are monopolies, and they're behaving in anti-competitive practices, and I think we're seeing the ripple
Yeah, you're
effects.
seeing states actually increase the ability for private lawyers to go after these folks. As a matter of fact, in Florida, that just occurred. It's on the books in a couple of other states where private lawyers can start pushing back. That's when change takes place, because government won't do it. They're not powerful. I mean, they simply don't have the wherewithal to go to court, try these cases. But if you put thousands of lawyers on this all over the country in private practice, you got something different. Do you think these lawsuits are going to expand as we go forward?
I think they are. Like I said, we're seeing it.
Attorney generals.
Absolutely. Attorney generals for sure. I mean, we have, I believe the one against Apple and Google have about 40 attorney generals that have signed off from state to state. And what we see here in this specific one against Amazon is that California, as well as Washington and Connecticut, those attorney generals are also looking to join this, or at least are doing their own investigations for possible joint.
If they don't do it, they need to open the doors and let private attorneys go in after these folks. Thank you for joining me, okay?
Yes, sir.